Pounders. Today we have a little special guest for Playoff Bestball, the king of Playoff Bestball. I don't know how you do it every single year. You're cashing something. You said you told me drafters 1 year, Underdog 2 cashes there, over 50K of profit. You just opened up your own website. James, welcome to the live stream, my man.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. Yeah, you just got to keep grinding, right? You just keep entering, and you close your eyes. Hope one of them hits.
If you guys don't already follow James, his link is going to be in the description of the video. Absolute grinder. Probably you have to be top 3 of just volume alone from the summer. And you said you didn't do dailies as much this year, but you had a week 16 battle royale win last year as well. What's been that process? Just like the volume alone, was that taxing at all?
It definitely is. Like this year, I just kind of feel beat down. Like the way the NFL seasons went too. It just
Oh my
feels like
God.
just
Oh my God.
You put so much time and effort into this stuff, and
Yeah.
and the way it goes like that, and that's just kind of the way it goes. So I love it that at the same time where it's the strategy, we think we have something figured out and everyone's back to square one again. Like I bet you this summer, like we're gonna have so many articles on like what went wrong, what went right, and like
you can do the same exact thing.
Yeah. So
draft MVS again. Not us.
Next year's gonna be completely different again. Like this year really threw me for a loop. So
for sure. Well, yeah, the injuries alone, we're ready for a reset. But we're going to be doing some playoff best ball on Underdog today. How many drafts have you done so far? And what contest has been sort of your go-to so far?
Yeah, so I'm probably like with drafters and Underdog combined, like they're the ones that have the contests out. So I'm probably approaching about 400 on the playoff side.
Nice.
The mittens are like an automatic. Like those they've been good to me over the last 2 years. So I'm just gonna anytime I see a mitten, it's just gonna get 150 on there, 150 max each one. Because I honestly just feel like that's you just want as many combos as you can. So you just keep drafting. And I know like sometimes at the end, like people are like, hey, my team looks exactly the same as I've built like 100 teams that look the same. But I think they're a little bit different. And I kind of switch up my rankings almost every day, so that plays into it too.
And those teams are going to end up in different pods, and maybe one of those similar like teams.
Oh, for sure,
advances in one and it doesn't in the other. And if you do know what you're doing, there is a huge edge in these rooms. So volume kind of lowers the variance of losing money in a single year. Now, obviously, very singular the other way, you could be off the wrong takes, but where I'm assuming you have a pretty wide portfolio.
Yeah, and I like to review that like once a week or whenever I do, and I look at and kind of check myself in. And it's like, oh man, I am pretty high on a certain team or certain players.
Yeah.
And then I kind of readjust, because you don't want to be. You could have the best takes. You could almost for certain. I know this team's gonna make this huge run, but like so much happens. Like this year, if that's not a awakening for anybody, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, even just San Fran losing last week. No, it's a different conference, but like that's a clear example. Like, is San Fran even guaranteed to make the Super Bowl? They're gonna have to get through some really good teams, so it is interesting. But drafting, like you're right, is definitely something that we'll get into. Drafting those gross players at the bottom of those lineups, because you could end up with a similar team, but just one extra player, right? It could be someone gross like Mason or Elijah Mitchell, who's been an absolute killer for everyone's best ball portfolio. But he's one injury away. At least that's what we think.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. I think these contests, people are getting smarter. Like every draft room I'm in, I see like everyone's staying in their lane more so. And they're drafting as if they're right. They're drafting teams that are going to compete with 5 players plus in the Super Bowl. So like everyone's getting a lot better at it. So my focus this year is a little bit more on leverage. Like, we're all building the same, but you're gonna want like some guy in that Super Bowl that's less than 5% owned. Can you get that? And then at least you have a little bit of hope. Like, hey, my lineups are all the same as like 5 guys at the top.
Mhm.
But if it's like I don't even know what player, like the Eagles are there, maybe it's Quez Watkins and he gets an 80-yard
Right.
touchdown, and that's
Right.
the guy that's the guy that's gonna boost you up. So
Yeah, exactly. How are you approaching like the Mitten 2, which just opened, versus like the Gauntlet, which has been out for a while? How are you approaching those two differently right now?
oh yeah, that's a great question. So I feel like the mittens now they're gonna be like 1 week windows. Like this mitten's probably gonna fill by Sunday or whenever all the games are
Yeah.
over.
Yeah.
So, which is good. So I actually like that better because we all have the same information.
Mhm.
Maybe you can find some small edges. So, yeah, I really like those smaller contests that are coming, lower dollar, and then you can kind of just pound those out and get them out of the way. The gauntlet, yeah, I've only done 3 of those so far, so
Interesting.
that's
Okay.
that's a wait and see for me because I know like a lot of people drafted probably they
Those
could have got all the
Bills
49ers.
early.
Like as soon as it opened, yeah, like it could have been like all 49ers, like all the top guys, but
Yeah.
now they have to worry about the number 1 seed and all that kind of stuff. So,
True.
but I think there's also a lot of dead lineups in there too. So you probably have,
Definitely.
you know, probably 10-15% of those teams are just dead because players aren't even going to be in the playoffs.
That is very true, and that's the risk of sort of drafting those early.
Mhm.
And the edge there is always like speculate, right? You have to make that speculation bet that, okay, Buffalo does win out and make the playoffs, and you're getting those guys for free on the back end.
Mhm.
Now I'm assuming they are very costly, or at least moving up. They still have some games to win, but I do agree, like the mittens, the way you're kind of approaching those, the
Yeah.
information, everyone's on an even playing field, and maybe getting your portfolio, like new information should change your portfolio each week.
Yeah.
Really should.
Well, and kind of like the way I look at it too, like I know there's going to be 4 of these mittens or maybe 5 or whatever. So I don't have to, like, I want to get those in where the gauntlet is, that's not even halfway full. So what
Right.
I'd approach that gauntlet, like I would wait till after this Sunday. The more information you have, the better. Like we're talking injuries, we're talking playoff
Mhm.
seeding,
Mhm.
and the next wrinkle is like what matchups, like who's going to play each other in the first round, because that is huge. Like if you know that going drafting these, you have a big edge not only for the first round but the second round and even the third round. So like I've tried to like play some scenarios with that. uh yeah, like
Will you be a fader of the Bills? Let's say they win this week against the Pats. Like, shouldn't be a
well,
huge surprise, although they've lost.
well I think
Would
I think they're actually pretty much already in. Like all the odds are like
Yeah,
minus 1,000 now for them to make the
yeah.
playoffs. So like even if they lose, like who do they play this week? It's a gimme one, right?
Pats, yeah, it's the
Sorry,
Pats, and
I
then
didn't
no,
mean to rub that
100%.
in.
I hope so. I'm praying. I'm
Yeah,
praying we lose.
yeah, but even if it comes down to week 18 against the Dolphins,
Yeah.
like I think there's scenarios they lose that game, they can still get in now
Okay.
because the AFC's like all those teams have been losing, right? Like the Jags, the Texans, and like they're all
Right.
losing.
Yeah.
So the Bills are in a good spot. The thing I worry about them, it looks like they're probably a good chance they're going to play the Chiefs in round 1, which is like
Mhm.
kind of crazy because you're both those teams I kind of like. But here's the thing with the Bills, like I get you could have got them for free at the start of the gauntlet, but to me that doesn't matter. Like to
Mhm.
me, I want all the information I can, and if I have to take Josh Allen and Diggs at the turn in round 1 and 2, that's fine. Like I don't, that's fine. It doesn't matter to me. Like I get like maybe if it's a San Fran Bills Super Bowl, you're not going to get that combo that a lot of guys got. So
Right.
but I don't know.
No,
Too
not
many things happen.
it makes sense, and it's tough to plan, like, beforehand, like, if those teams that were drafting Purdy weren't planning on, them having a bye, maybe it's a solo Purdy team. Like,
Mhm.
how many players were doing that? Where at now those teams can still advance without a QB, super slim, but, Yeah,
Well, and it could be easier this year because in those earlier pods, there's probably like one or two dead teams in every one,
mhm.
because of people drafting whatever team they thought was like the Bengals. They could have been stacking the Bengals, so that team's dead. Um, but yeah, at the same time, like you could, and this gauntlet is 2 of 6 advanced. Last year and past years, it's always been 1 of 6.
Yeah.
So there's a huge advantage there where you can probably slip in 5 San Fran or 5 Ravens or a combo of 5 players from both those teams. And you can go like pretty heavy on like one-off kind of players and sneak out of the first round.
What are your thoughts on like these one-off type guys that sort of like they can throw your portfolio or they can throw your team off to a direction maybe you don't intend it to go, but
Mhm.
it's that shiny, sexy pick that might not make sense. Um, are you doubling down on those type players where you're like, okay, maybe it's Mike Evans, right? Not the sexiest, but maybe it's Mike Evans. Are you
Mhm.
also bringing in Godwin with that chance that you're planning that they win a game or two?
No, that's a great question. So, um, for the first round, I don't think you need that. Like if you're projecting these players like, hey, I think they have a good shot of winning round one, this team, and they're going to give me 2 weeks of scoring points. That's when I want those onesies more often. Like Amari
Mhm.
Cooper, like they're probably going to play the Jaguars in round one or Texans or Colts, like whoever wins that division, right?
Right.
So like Browns have a pretty good shot of getting 2 games for you. So like I'd
Yeah.
rather take a player like that where maybe on a Mike Evans they play the Cowboys round one. Like I- I'm probably going with the Cowboys side on that one. So I'd
Mhm.
rather when I'm comparing those two, like a Mike Evans and a Cooper, I'm definitely going to want Cooper.
Mhm.
Um, those kind of
That
things I
makes
think
sense.
about. And when you say double down on the player, so last
Like,
year,
on that team.
right. Last year
Yeah.
is a great example of this. Is last year a Mitten Returns again team that I drafted and went on to win, tied with Hope or whatever. But it had 4 Eagles, it had 4 Chiefs, and the other 2 players on that team were 2 Jaguars. So it had like
Hmm.
I think it was like Christian Kirk and Ingram or somebody. I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly, but the Jaguars, I mean, they blew up and they helped me get to that conference championship round.
Mhm.
So things
Wow.
like that, I'm fine doing it. I think in the year before that, you probably remember Gabe Davis had that blow up game against the Chiefs, and he
Yeah,
helped a
right.
lot of people advance. So there's gonna be somebody like this whole list of players. There's gonna be 1 or 2 guys that are gonna help you get out of pods, probably more in week 2, week 3,
Mhm.
and they could be on the losing team. Um, like their team's not going to advance to the next round, but you need them for your team
To
to
get
advance in
through.
the pods. Yeah. So,
What are your thoughts on the KC side thing, like onslaughting KC, which we've seen has been sort of gross this year just from a production standpoint? Are you onslaughting like, say you don't get Kelsey, say you start with CMC and you wanna bring in, like, Mahomes?
right now in drafts, you get the 101. You
Mhm.
go CMC, you can get Kelsey and Mahomes
Kelsey and
at the two
Mahomes.
three turn. Yeah, so it's falling.
Right.
People this year is reacting so much to what's going on in the field. So like you're seeing all the Chiefs fall now because that's all the media is talking about. Like the Chiefs have
Yeah.
lost it and
Mhm.
whatnot. So yeah, like that's why I like drafting week to week and mitten to mitten because that information is more swayed, and people are pushing players or teams down or up the board, when I think I have a little bit of leverage there. So I love the Chief builds. I'm not you're gonna get wild card weekend with them. So you're gonna get like Mahomes, you could take him 101, it's fine.
Mhm.
Like obviously no one wants to take anybody but CMC at 101, but
Mhm.
there's a case, yeah, for taking those guys. And that's why I like the Eagles and Hurts, and I like the Cowboys and CD Lamb. I think he's a great pick too. And then yeah, you kind of build out your core from there.
How many Chiefs is too many Chiefs? Like
Huh.
where do you stop with them? Because obviously, like, the production's been sorta rough, so let's say they do somehow make the Super Bowl. we'd probably assume that their defense is going to be a big part of that. It's been a big part of their whole season. How many, like, where do you stop?
So I think that with the Chiefs, they have the best quarterback probably in the whole playoffs, right? So, and I know like the receiving options, and I know Mahomes is just like his stats have not been good, right, in the last few weeks. So people are down on
all
him,
year.
but I think playoffs are a different ball game. Like they could win
Yeah.
games 20-17. It doesn't matter. You're just wanting your team to keep advancing throughout, and it's hard to bet against Mahomes, to be honest. Whether you hate him or you like him or whatever, wherever you stand on him. How many Chiefs are too many? So what I try to do, if I get like the turn pick or wherever, and if I can get Kelsey and Mahomes start, I'll try to get Pacheco and Rice. Rice, I feel is like pretty good value. Like he's the guy now. Like even more than Kelsey.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Almost you want Rice is just as valuable in this format, in my opinion, than Kelsey. But I try to get all four of those, and that's my build. If I go Kelsey, Mahomes, and I get sniped on Rice and Pacheco, and then I will go. Then I will want 5 or 6 Chiefs. So what I'll do is go with like the Watson, Tony, MVS, or Richie James, and I'll get like 3 of those guys, and then I'll get like a Edwards-Helaire. So I'll add like those guys all the last round too, so they're almost free, and then you can kind of stack NFC pretty hard after from rounds like 3 to 6 or whatever.
I like it. Before we jump into draft, one more question for you: running backs. Where do you stop? A lot of people are saying solo running backs okay. If it is for you, who's your guy? Because it's obviously not someone that has a bye. And then secondly, are you drafting more than 2 elite running backs?
So why I like the Chiefs, why I like the Bills and the Eagles and the Dolphins and the Cowboys, I think they all have legit shots to go to the Super Bowl, and they're not, for the most part, don't think they're going to get the bye. So you can go solo QB. Then the next play on that is where you're at running back, and you can also. I don't do solo running back because I mean, just injuries are ridiculous, and especially the running back.
Right.
Like if you're gonna do that, I'd rather go let's stay on the Chiefs. You go Mahomes as your solo QB, you get Pacheco. But then why not add one more Chiefs running back? So you could actually do 1 QB, right, 2 running, because you're betting on this team to go to the Super Bowl. So
no, I agree.
It gives you some leverage in the finals if you're in the finals, because then you're going to be cheering for that secondary running back to go off where everyone else has the first running back. So that's how I play that. But that also gives you, that's only 3 roster spots, and that gives you 7 receivers. You can just really stack up, and that's where a lot of points come from. So, and you can get better values down the board. You can get better like matchups for Super Bowl and stuff. So you're already taking the QB. You're betting on that team to go Super Bowl. So if you just go all in with the running back too, I'm fine with that.
I love it. All right, which one would you like to rip? No big man.
No, I'm fine. You can just do the men. That's fine.
Let's jump in. Waiting on 5. Gonna get everybody in here. Yeah, it is interesting that people are like just consuming more content, and you see them stay in their lane more. Now the mitten can be like the wild, wild west still, but you can definitely tell that drafters are getting smarter with these playoff contests.
Yeah, definitely. And then you see you're getting badges in here and 2 non-badges, but so that's always good. And that's one of the things I look for is if they're not going to snipe you quite as much. I actually like welcome it when people do. Like people take my guys, it's like it makes my teams different. Like I go off the board a little bit, and I welcome the challenge every time someone does that to me.
Sometimes it hurts more than others, but
yeah,
I tend to agree. Who's your favorite scroll down QB? Dark horse. Is it Flacco?
Honestly, look, if I had to scroll way down, it's Lawrence. Like I think the Jags are still legit to they have to put it all together, but I just feel like
Mhm.
there's some talent there still.
Yeah,
And we haven't seen it all year, but that's where I'd go.
I like it. CMC the clear 101. Debo feels like the clear 2 spot for me just because of the leverage he gives you off of CMC with the potential just stealing a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, see, I don't like the 49ers. Like other than McCaffrey, he's the only one I'm
Mhm,
taking. Like I feel like they
mhm.
got pushed up the board and I can't build good builds with it. Like you can take Debo, but it's going to be hard for you to build a team that you're going to like. So
Who's
that's
your
why
2 spot, Hill?
I go Hill or Lamb. Like those are the
Alright,
ones I go. And the thing
let's go
about the
Hill.
Dolphin, and now what I do is put all the Dolphins in my queue and try to get all 5 of them.
Mhm,
So, and then you can kind of see if some guys fall on the NFC side and you can add them in too. But
love it.
I like the Dolphins a lot because they're going to get probably in the second seed. And they're going to end up playing the 7th seed. And that's going to
Mhm.
be like almost a gimme. And the Dolphins put up so much fantasy points. Like if you can get all those guys, like you're just like you only need those 4 or 5 guys, and you're locked to get out of round one. And then in round two, like say the Bills beat the Chiefs, and then the Dolphins would, yeah, they would play the winner of the Browns and Jags.
Right.
So the Dolphins. So you're getting 2 easier, and then say if the Bills beat the Ravens, and then you get a home matchup for the AFC Championship too.
True.
So
True.
Dolphins have a pretty good path. So I'm liking them.
No, I agree. In 1 week, it could be Mostert, and we're seeing Achane kinda cool off a little bit, but this seems heavily discounted down here. I don't know if people are reaching up for him when they have Dolphins, but yeah, when you're making that bet on Hill,
Mm-hmm.
how many times is it 50%? Is it 90% that you're bringing in Tua?
I'm always trying to bring them in. Yeah, if I can. If I can't, then I just switch to NFC and get
Mhm.
like Jared Goff, or like if you have to like a Stafford or something. I don't know. But usually, if you take all the Dolphins, no one's going to take them as a one-off.
Mhm.
So, like
Do
you
you
could
like
change it. You could change it up here too. You could go NFC. You could take George Kittle here, and then you get a piece of San Fran.
Mhm.
But honestly, I would just go all Dolphins. Like I do
start with Mostert or Waddle?
Mostert. You're gonna get a discount on Waddle right now because a high ankle sprain. People like overreact to that stuff too.
Mm.
And you could go him, or you could do Tua here just to play it safe, but probably Waddle.
Let's see if people take the naked Tua.
Well, they could still pair him with
Achan.
HN, yeah. So I mean that's the risk, but I feel like you're taking these guys ahead of ADP, so you have a better chance of getting them all.
Shock says I definitely didn't click Patrick Mahomes. This is a lie. This was a mistake by Underdog right here. CeeDee Lamb, Mahomes, and Devonta Smith.
So here you're in a problem because someone took Lamar and Allen, so like somebody might be kind of thirsty for a QE too. So maybe
Mhm.
this guy might take him here. I mean, he probably should take Dak actually.
Yeah, like Miami's just such a condensed offense that it feels bad. I mean, sure he can go to a Achan, but other than that, to make a bet on to a Cedric Wilson, little slim, little slim.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that people like. I don't care about the ADPs in these. I mean, I know a lot of people do, and that's how they draft off of them. But I feel like all the quarterbacks should be bumped up a lot more because you can't. You're building these teams based on the quarterback. Like you need that
Mhm.
quarterback. So
Yeah,
I'm always surprised by that.
yeah, I agree. You're making a heavy bet on that QB as well as the running back too. I feel like when we're drafting the running back position, I'm not doing it as often at RB where it's like, all right, that's gonna be my one-off piece that's gonna get me through one game. because you're only drafting one or two of them, yes, sure, you can add on like a third guy, like a handcuff at the end of the draft. But your main guys, your first like 3-4 rounds, I'm not gonna be doing that. It's like you always
Yeah.
want them in the Super Bowl, I feel like.
Well, the fun wrinkle about running back too is you only need to start one, right? So that's why I like that when you can double down on the running back from the same team that you're already betting on, and then you can just worry about only your receivers in the flex, which is great.
Are you cool with Tua here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can look to see what that guy has right here, what his team is looking like. So he might have went to it, right? Because he has all San Fran. He's another QB. So, and he's going to probably hit AFC here hard. So you can predict what he's going to do. So he might take our guy. I would imagine he takes Pacheco and HN. Could be. But if he has CMC, I don't think he needs like 3 running backs. So
I was gonna say maybe Gus too.
well, that's super risky, but I guess it's worth it to try it a few times. To load up on those number 1 seeds.
Right. He might have rankings set up and he's just not pushing the plane.
Yeah, it looks like that.
We'll see what it is, which is really tough to do for this contest, especially.
Oh yeah. So I mean, he can. I like it though. I will probably try. Maybe 5% of my entries like that. Where to go 5 with the number 1 seeds and then go crazy on the one-offs. But I just don't think
super low owned, super hard to advance. But again, he has his 5 pieces, which is really what you want to have live, right?
Right, but he has to get really lucky with his next 5. And seeing how we build our team, like we have like all the Dolphins' whole offense, like that's gonna be hard to overcome when your first 5 picks are not even playing.
Right, especially in this world where the Dolphins win, obviously. I mean, Swift would be really nice here, but again, 2 RBs. We have to probably make the bet on those 2 RBs.
Yeah, but then again, if he falls here, like I think it's a good play.
Okay.
And I mean, Montgomery would have been a good play, and like probably right here, like Cooks probably the most, and then Cooks and Ferguson. I'm not sure what to do with the Rams yet. I know people are just loving them.
Yeah, the Rams are a tough one.
They still have to play San Fran in the last week too. So
Staffy's been balling out. You got to give it to him. They've been absolutely balling out.
This guy just took another Baltimore, so he's banking on like Baltimore not getting the bye, or San Fran not getting the bye.
Right.
Let's see. That team feels dead to me.
Yeah, this is already a 5-person contest.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's going to be Beckham. Interesting.
So I like Brandon Cooks, but if you want to go Cup, that's fine. But I just don't. I mean, I guess the Rams could play Detroit the way it's shaped up right now, and they could win that game too. So
let's go Cup here. Let's make a little speculation bet that the Rams aren't pretenders. I think we're also going to be able to get more Rams pieces. Now, if we could have got Goddard there, that would have been, I feel like, pretty nice. And then we bring in a bunch of gross Philly pieces to end it, and then maybe some.
Yeah, I probably want to go back to Philly on this build. I like a Jameson Williams. I think is fun. So here's another thing. Say like the Rams do play the Lions in round 1. So I don't mind taking like Cooper Cup and a Detroit piece because you're not really worried about the points in round 1, but it also gives you an automatic onesie in round 2 because if they play each other, one of them is going to get knocked out. Obviously, you want all your guys to be live the next round, but at the same time, it's nice to have an extra piece there in round 2 to help you get a spike week and harder pods and stuff too.
Yeah, if they're playing against each other, just getting that guaranteed advanced guy.
Yeah.
So we can do that. You're okay with doing 3 separate teams from the other side?
Yeah. Because you went 5 Dolphins, so you're already live for the Super Bowl just with one team.
So if you guys don't know, like the goal is obviously to get as many live players in the Super Bowl as possible. That being said, like the minimum, I think 4 won it last year, right? Did a 4 player?
Yeah, it was
which is rare. I think it's gonna be more on the rare side. You want 5. That's the goal. 5 live players. So whether it's a build that's 2 from Miami side, and then you're building out whatever the Philly side with 3 players.
So now you can do a couple of crazy things. You can take a couple like just crappy Dolphins players if you want to go that direction, or you just stick with the NFC side. You can do like a Jawan Jennings, but or you can do like DK Metcalf, but I think he's more of just like dead after 1 round. So honestly, I would probably just go all in. Or you could do like Demarcus Robinson. Like that was fun, like another piece on the Rams. And he's gonna be leverage. You could do like Higbee, things like that. Detroit.
Higbee's still there. That's definitely good. That's definitely a good ad.
You could do Josh Reynolds too. Then you got 2 pieces of Detroit. Like I'd rather do those than the Philly guys.
Yeah, I agree. If you're really hoping for that to be the Super Bowl team, I feel like we would have grabbed receivers over Swift, but obviously they're not available where we grab Swift. I think Swift in this situation is just a advance to the NFC Championship.
Right. I mean, so you could also stay AFC here and go with like a Justin Watson. Like you think the Chiefs are going to the AFC Championship. He's going to help you in like rounds, 2 and 3. But whatever you prefer here, definitely I would go receiver.
Yeah, let's bring in Justin Watson. There is a world in which we can get. Well, we'll see. If Miami plays KC, might just get 1 game, right?
Yeah. No. Well, yeah, those are hard pieces at the end to kind of know how to leverage yourself. That's like a Dolphins build. What it looks like, it's pretty easy to do. Like if you want to just start all 5 of them. I just think Tyreek's a pretty good pick in the first round, and I just like I like the Dolphins' chances in AFC. Yeah. A lot of people are not high on them, so the prices are pretty nice right now.
I'll show you one team I did, and I've only done a couple, just dipping my toes in recently. Here was a little CMC, Brock Purdy, Rashee Rice, building out that San Fran KC. Mahomes falls like 10 picks. So we bring in the QB. It's too punishing, it feels like, to grab that second elite QB here at 13. It feels like you're giving up too much. Would you agree with that when you have that bye week guy? Or are you okay with mixing it up?
I think if you're taking Lamar or Purdy, like I'm probably not taking a QB until round 10. Like that's my last pick. Like
got it.
I'm fine with Joe Flacco on that team. It doesn't matter. Like you just want that QB to be playing and give you close to 20 points.
I agree with that. Like largely, I think that is probably the smarter play to just wait on QB, bet on that late guy. Like whether it's for you, like Goff, Trevor Lawrence,
I
players like
think,
that.
but
Flacco.
also if QBs fall down the board, I do grab them with Lamar and Purdy's. Like there's been times where like Dak is sitting in like the 7th, 8th round when I have
Yeah,
a Purdy team. I was like, okay, take Dak.
right.
Like
Again, these are just mittens. So kind of like diving in and sort of seeing what we can build here, because you're going to have some rare builds and you have some fun with it too.
yeah. So what's
CMC
your receivers
Pacheco,
look like? Okay.
Rice, Mike Evans, Godwin. So kind of making this bet that they win at least one game, most likely 2 games. And then at that point, you're hoping for a KC Tampa Bay Super Bowl. I'm just kidding. But anyways, like you are making that bet that they win 2 games, right? When you do something like this, because the KC
Right.
receivers, how they've been, especially we don't have Kelsey either.
I mean, I don't hate that build. I mean, I get where you're coming from. And that's kind of how those ones are more strategic. Like you have to really think about them as you're going along on them, and drafts happen pretty quick. But that's how
Oh
I
yeah,
probably would have built it out. Like I just feel like tacking on those 3 KC guys at the end is just it's too smart. Like,
it's basically free at this point, especially Sky Moore being out does
yeah,
condenses it just a little bit, like 20% snap count. Like it condenses it a little bit, gives a little bit of hope for these pieces. But yeah, just something interesting that I came across that I didn't think I would ever do. But when you make that bet on Mike Evans, how much does it how much sense does it make to just be like, okay, this is my one-off piece, and then based on who's there at 37 and etc. So we'll find. I'm sure we'll get into some more sticky spots tonight.
yeah. No, let's
Jump into another one.
let's not do Dolphins this time. But
Okay. Yeah, if we get 2 again, maybe we go Lamb. James Young, welcome to the live stream. I made the 25-man Pitbull final round on Underdog with a single bullet fired. Let's go.
that's
The luck,
awesome.
man. That's insane. So the Pitbull was that the $75?
Pitbull, was that like 500? No, I don't know. It seemed like it was a higher
There's
dollar one.
so many content. I know the Chow
Like,
was 50.
Chow Chow's 50, maybe Pitbull is 75. I can't remember. I never
Yeah, I
entered
can't.
that one.
I had good success just based on who I was drafting around that time when Pitbull 75. Just when it
Okay.
came out, my my takes must have been better. Advanced like 3 or 4 out of 10.
That brings up a good point though. Like I feel like game selection needs to be a big talking point this whole off season because there's so many contests out there, and we don't all have unlimited bankrolls. So I need to personally do a better job of how I'm entering these contests. So yeah.
And some of it's time, right? Like how much is your time worth? I know volume is fun, and I kind of burnt out 2 years ago on volume, and I wasn't even close to what you did. So this year I made a point to do just some more higher stakes, and end up we have a finals team in the Dalmatian, the first Dalmatian, which is fun.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's lower field entry, so like the finals feel a little more fun because they're, you're not against 300-400 teams. Now, obviously, I'd trade it for a BBM entry, like right now. Where would you like to go with this one at 5?
Yeah, I'd go Hurts here. Hurts with AJ and hopefully get him. Like this guy on the turn, hopefully he goes San Fran, Ayuk, Purdy, or like a Kelsey Mahomes.
Kelsey. Yeah.
Or Dig. Maybe he takes AJ Brown, but he doesn't
If
need him.
Jalen Hurts goes, is your next selection Diggs?
Yeah,
Would
yeah,
you
you
move
could do that
Diggs
too.
up? Yeah.
And
then just make the bet that it's because you can get these Buffalo pieces for pretty free. If he goes AJ Brown right away.
Yeah. Okay. So that's.
What do you think about that?
I think you could also go Devontae Smith here. Like if this guy wants to snipe us there, and then we can take Swift there. Like I'm all about building the core. Like if your guy goes, it's fine. Like how many Hurts and AJ Brown teams are going to be there, and then obviously there's going to be a lot of Hurts and Smith teams too. But
Yeah.
you just move on, live to fight another round here.
Yep.
Because
And
if
it's
you
just
go another direction, you go Diggs. Like you can go Diggs there, but like our whole drafting Hurts in the first round, that's you're banking on the Eagles. So like you should have drafted Josh Allen in the first round, in my opinion.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think I'm thinking of it from like a finals perspective of will there be teams with Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, and Devonta Smith where now you have to beat out those squads. But again, like they typically don't both get there in the same week. Like it's typically either just a Devonta Smith week, just an AJ Brown week, or just a Jalen Hurts week sometimes, where he gets there in the ground 2 times just from tush pushes alone. But we might get Diggs to come back to us if that interests you, or you would go to
Yeah, no, I like Diggs here.
or
Like
Rice. Obviously, Swift is there. No way Diggs falls to us. The suspense. 5, 4, 3. Taken by the auto drafter after all this. No, I'm just kidding. He goes Mahomes. Oh man, this guy's got to be drooling because he can still get. Sorry, I just hit the mic. Diggs it is. Diggs is 17. Now it's not that crazy because we could have got Diggs at pick 8 and then we could have got Smith at 17. Obviously,
right. It wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, this would be a lot more appealing if this was AJ Brown.
Yeah,
just because of the ADP difference.
And that goes back to why I like the mitten, because you can do 5 of them and try it 5 times compared to the gauntlet where you're only doing it 1 time. So, yeah, I would go Swift here.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yes, this one already feels pretty good. Again, you can get Gabe Davis for free. Basically, you can get those 2 tight ends in Buffalo for free.
So another thing you want to watch, like this guy, like right in the middle of us, he took Josh Allen and Cook, right? So he's going to want Gabe Davis next. So if you wanted Gabe Davis, you probably got to take him with your first pick.
Definitely.
Coming up.
Really good point. Really good point. Just watching the other drafters for sure. He's got the little Buffalo and KC with Philly.
I don't try to like snipe anybody, but I try to like see what they're doing but what works better for my lineup. So I'm not trying to be an a-hole or anything like that, but I'm definitely looking at these other lineups and these, so I can kind of predict what I can do next in my picks.
Yeah, no, it's smart. Those are the little edges that give you an advantage, and they add up too.
So that's why I would do Gabe Davis here. Yeah, so then you got a nice 5 Super Bowl team there. Like you could wait and get Kincaid or Knox or whatever, but I just like that build better. Then we don't have to go back to any more Buffalo. You can add on a Goddard. You could also do a Gainwell like really late on this team where you only do the 2 Philly running backs again.
Yeah.
And that gives you a lot more options. I feel like the AFC, like with all those Chiefs late and the Ravens late, you can add on to nice Philly builds, in my opinion. So yeah, I probably got it here. Detroit.
Yeah, this one feels good already. And again, you're going to draft, if you're drafting multiple teams, you're just trying to find different outlets of what you think is possible, like what you think could happen in the playoffs. Every week, we're going to get more information, and then we'll actually find out who is playing who. That's when there will be even more clear mistakes, I feel like.
I mean, you could go all in on Buffalo if you wanted. If you wanted to add like Kincaid and Shakir and like all these guys.
Playoff Lenny?
No, I'm not doing that. I'd rather do Murray.
Lenny stopped at the goal line last week.
I mean,
Curious.
obviously you can, but I just think that's just people already jumping in on that. Oh, look at you, football guys! I love it.
Yeah, we're on it. If you guys don't know, James is doing some work over at Football Guys. You do some write-ups, right?
Yeah, I do some like in the off season best balls content, and we worked on the best ball guide and stuff this year too. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, those guys
Dude,
are awesome. We're going out to Vegas in January to watch all the wild card games together. So be good
sick.
times.
That's awesome. What do you think, though? Playoff Lenny out touching. I think he had more touches than Latavius Murray too, but like this is just it's clearly James Cook's backfield now. But this is interesting. It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, unless I'm had Josh Allen and I had James Cook, then I would tack him on. But just either one of those running backs probably not adding on to like a different core build, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I only really like those add-ons. Like who do we got here? I would go. You could do like Odell Beckham here. You could start like a Baltimore thing.
Should we
Or
go Kincaid before because he has Josh Allen?
yeah, Kincaid.
If we
probably.
want
Yeah.
Kincaid.
No, that's a great
Okay.
point. Yeah.
Probably a Shakir pick, I would think, coming in, but maybe naked Josh Allen is a thing too.
Well, he could go Monty and Goff. Like could probably be smart for him. Like go Detroit style.
Yeah, Jameson Williams makes sense.
Oh,
He
he
goes
took
Gainwell.
Gainwell. Okay,
Interesting.
whatever. Yeah. So we got 4 Phillies. We're good. I actually I don't mind Monty here. Like
Yeah, I
that's
was gonna
probably where I
say
go.
advance. This could be a nice advance rate piece.
Yep, you can get second round out of them, and
Is there so your QB that you just care about just getting 1 week out of your favorite pick? You said it's Trevor Lawrence.
on the AFC side, I guess.
Yeah.
I think Goff's like a really good play because he's just way down there. Yeah, I don't think he should be as far down. But
I
yeah,
agree with that.
those are like the 2 ones way down that I feel like have a legit shot. Like they could make a run and get into a conference championship. Like I guess you could say that with Flacco too, but I'm not going there yet.
It's wild. I mean, they have a good defense. Imagine if Chubb was still playing. Like this team would it'd be even more live. It'd be even more live.
So are you thinking a second QB? Because I don't think I'd do that.
No, just stick with Jalen.
Yeah.
Okay.
You invest too much in him, so I don't think you want to do that. I'd do like you could do a Justice Hill here. We could build out a little mini Baltimore. Yeah, they got Bateman too.
Batman. We have Shakur as well if we want.
Shakir. Yeah, maybe Shakir here. Let's go all in on Bills minus Cook and Allen. So you got a massive like Philly Buffalo Super Bowl. You got 8 players.
Fancy Football Garage coming in clutch here. Gainwell was clutch in last year's playoffs. So true.
I don't know if you want to go Baltimore here. What do you want to do here?
Probably not running back. I think if we're gonna grab one piece, it would be Mike Evans or Metcalf.
Yeah, if you don't have your limits set, you're getting a QB. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and you're hoping you get just 2 games out of him. If you don't, I don't think it's a huge deal.
Yeah,
but to just have basically 1-2 guys that are one-offs isn't a big deal at all when we get this mega stack.
Yeah, I was thinking we could have got Gainwell in the 10th round, so that would have been probably nicer.
Yeah. He went where? Like in the 7th? He went in the 8th.
Yeah, we kind of had a battle going with Mayor Ship It.
That's a fun one. Vapor was in this draft with us, so was Brian Purdy
Yeah,
too.
Vapor, appreciate all his stuff. Like he's a good guy.
Oh yeah, super active in the community. Bry's always putting good stuff in our Discord. Do you have time for one more, or I know you're on time crunch?
Yeah, if you want to jump in one really quick,
Okay,
and then I gotta get out of here.
fill it up, boys. So the advance rates for this one is 2 out of 6. You said. Then what is it, like 1 out of
10 and 1 out of 10, and then 1 out of 10, 1 out of 10, and
1 out
then
of 10, 1 out of 10.
186. Yeah, so this one changed from the first mitten. So
Mhm.
yeah, definitely you want to hit that rules every time you see a new contest, just so you're aware. The strategy definitely changes.
Nice. I do like the 25K, and then half a first going a second. It seems a little more flat at the top, which is good. 2,500 plus for top 10.
Yeah, so 186 is to get you in the finals, and that's $250. So that's basically 50 drafts. Do 50 of these drafts and try to make a finals team, and you get your money back.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm glad that they have it as like just a min cash. Like if you advance out of 1 week, it's just a min cash, because you could run into a huge problem if this was even like $8, where now people are playing to basically just do like a mini double up.
Yeah, it really would screw it up. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, so too bad we didn't get a 101 here.
Jalen Hurts good.
Okay.
Go Lamb.
Yeah, so we already did the Miami and we did the Philly, so now we're doing the Dallas.
Do the dirty Dallas.
So here's another thing you hear, like I've done before. I'd take a Kelsey here, and then I'd put Pollard in my queue next, and then I'll see if I can get Dak or Mahomes. So it gives you two options to.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that a lot.
I feel like these drafts always come down to the first 2 or 3 rounds, and that's kind of how your core is going to go. Like if you screw up those rounds, that's when it can get ugly.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, he goes, let's try it.
So
let's try it.
And then put Dak and Mahomes in your queue too. And it gives you two options.
It is, I think you're very good at it, is like ignoring the noise of those players that are like right there. Yeah. They're like 101s in battle royales every week. Diggs, like, I mean, not anymore. He's been rough as of late, but like ignoring those elite players that don't make sense for your roster. Not saying that Diggs wouldn't make sense here, but you're very good at kind of ignoring those plays that don't help your lineup.
I feel like Diggs has not been very good, so I feel like you're just betting on the Bills with him, and I feel like Gabe Davis like had a couple of spike weeks. Maybe it's you get a huge discount, and James Cook seems like the guy. Like I'd almost rather if I got Josh Allen, Cook, and Gabe, like it's probably fine.
Yeah. Hey, Bradley's in the live stream. Let's go. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Bradley has always been nice to me. He likes the Drafters app.
1 pick away. Ooh, okay. Building it out. If you guys haven't already, go down, slap a like on the live stream. If you're new to the channel, hit the sub. James's info, you can find him in the description on X. Just so random. I'm going to call it Twitter, I think, forever.
So you grab Mahomes, that's fine. Probably grab Rice here, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are pretty predictable, too. Like, if you do enough of them, you're going to kind of know, like, people's tendencies and where they should draft. They don't always do what you think they're going to do. But
exactly, but you can sort of plan ahead on your roster. Sometimes a little easier.
Obviously, you're on the live stream here, but what I do in these parts was be like, I'm building out Dallas, so I just throw Ferguson and Cooks in my queue, but then I just hammered the whole thing down with AFC players after that. So I'm not even really looking at any other NFC guys quite as much. So I'll
Yeah.
put Pacheco top of my queue. I'll put
Definitely.
Achane top of my queue. Gus Edwards top of my queue. If all those guys are gone, that's when I go back to okay, I'm gonna do the Pollard Rico build.
Yeah.
Just the two Dallas running backs, and I'm gonna stack my receivers higher. So
Pacheco, I think, would be a miracle to fall back to this team. Achane, probably my least favorite of the three, just because even Gus Edwards, you can add so many more other Baltimore pieces down below.
Oh, for sure. I think the Ravens are a really sneaky build out right now when you're going heavy NFC teams.
Definitely.
After round 5 or 6, you can just basically get 3-4 Ravens for free if you wanted them.
Pacheco here would be pretty big. Wow.
Yeah, there you go.
James has given us good luck tonight.
So
now you get rid of Gus.
I don't know. I'd still add him in there. I wouldn't pick him here, but if he kept rolling around, yeah, I'd probably go Brandon Cooks.
Love it. Love it.
And now
All the AC pieces are live.
No one should take Ferguson, really. I guess they can as a one-off, but no one has any really reason to take him.
It's true. It's true. Let's see. Unless they're doing some, sort of like what we did with Miami, where you're grabbing, you're grabbing 5 players, and maybe you just need that one piece.
Oh yeah, that guy had 5. Yeah, so he'd probably put him in the queue. Yeah, so
he goes Laporta here. Yeah, which is nice because then he can grab JMO.
Yeah, so he'll probably stay in his lane and go probably a mini Detroit stack.
Yeah, luckily Bride knows what he's doing. A little bit, a little. Give him a little bit of credit here.
He's basically doing the same team we did our first one.
Yeah.
Smart.
Copycat, man. Copycat. But yeah, this is a fun one, especially because those pieces are so free. Even the late Dallas pieces, the late KC guys.
Likely is a good pick here too. I feel like he's pretty buried. I don't know if people think Andrews is coming back or not, but I don't think he is.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so. Justin Watson. Jay Cliff goes Odell. He goes to Montgomery, falls to him. Wow.
Yeah, that's nice. He's got a 7-man Super Bowl going there.
It's Death's world.
He's got to go running back, right? He's got 0 running backs.
Rashad White? Amari Cooper? He goes White. Ferg?
You could do Amari Cooper if you wanted, but he's more of a one-off play. So I don't know. What's this guy in between us? What does he have? What does his team look like?
Philly, KC.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to grab some KC pieces.
I mean, you want to take Justin Watson too. It's just so you get him, or Ferguson's probably the smarter pick.
I think we can go Watson here if we're planning on bringing him in anyways. We won't be able to get him after T-Fly. I'm also okay if he snipes Ferg to go back to the Amari Cooper. I don't see why he would go Ferguson here. He could, just because there's so many Dallas pieces left. he could still build out 1, 2. It'd be tough for him to find like 5 players in the finals because of running back. Like, sure, you could, I guess, you can go Clyde McKinnon.
Okay, yeah, let's go Ferguson. And yeah, that's a pretty crazy stack there, Dallas KC.
Onslaught.
Well, you might as well just only do them now at this point, right?
Yeah. I don't think. Are you clicking Tony at all? Like, my heart tells me Gallup over Tony, especially because we have Dak.
I actually like Tony. I don't know why. I just feel like it's one of those where he's just
doesn't hit all year, but he'll hit in the Super Bowl.
So bad all year, but everyone's just giving up on him.
Oh my God. For good reason. For absolute good reason.
Yeah, I'd probably do like a Gallup MVS. That's probably where I would go because MVS is more just like I'm looking for a huge spike week touchdown because I don't think he's going to do much anyway.
Fair.
Or another way to play it is to go like Tolbert and the other dude, Turpin. Go both the Dallas guys that no one's really drafting. Then you get leverage and you hope one of them hit.
So you want Tolbert here?
Yeah, I mean, just to mix it up if you want.
I love it.
That I mean, you don't need those guys ever, but if you're going Super Bowl, you're hoping you get the leverage. I mean, you could go Gallup, but maybe I'd just go Turpin on this one, just to be different. Your call.
Goes Tony.
Probably Gallup, I guess. Safer.
All right, I like it. We still have the Tolbert piece. Shit, if this does make it in, I don't think we would need the overreach. You know what I mean? On Turpin, which is fine. Like, you could definitely mix in Turpin. Weird shit happens in the Super Bowl. Like, if people remember, like, weird shit happens in the Super Bowl.
So this team is exactly how I built 2 years ago with the Bengals and Rams team. I did 7 Rams and 3 Bengals. And it won. Like, so you're doing the exact same thing. You're doing 7 Cowboys and 3 Chiefs. So
yeah,
like I think it's obviously you have to sneak through some pods, but if you get to the finals and those teams are in, like you have some crazy leverage.
Right. Yeah. That'd be a crazy Super Bowl. Can Dallas do it? All right, guys. Well, James, I appreciate you coming on the live stream tonight. What you're doing over on the Football Fellas, you got your own website. The link to that's in the description, guys. If you want his playoff best ball rankings, check that out. Appreciate you being a listener and just everything you do for the community. It's awesome. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me and good luck in the best ball streets, everyone.
Yeah. Have a good night, everybody. And Thursday Night Football tomorrow, week 17. This is what it's all about. Have a good night, Pounders.